We're bringing back an old classic, Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for making my boyfriend eat meat at my family gathering even though he's vegetarian? My boyfriend, 24-year-old, and I, 28-year-old, have been together for 2 years. Yesterday, we were visiting my family because we won't be able to be with them on Christmas, so we wanted to drop off some presents. It was also the first time that my boyfriend met my entire family, so it was kind of important. Here's the thing, I forgot to tell them that my boyfriend is vegetarian. So my mom made a turkey and there wasn't really anything else to eat besides some snacks, but that's just poor preparation there. When I realized that, I quietly asked my boyfriend to please not cause a scene and just eat the food and compliment my mom on it. I don't think you realize how important it is to some people. They legitimately think so if he's like vegetarian or something. Eating meat is a really bad thing for him. So you asking him to just compromise and eat it is completely ridiculous considering he might have some like moral qualms with it or something. He tried to argue back saying that he doesn't want to lie to my mom, but I told him he would come across as rude if he didn't at least try it. And I didn't want to make a bad impression. Or maybe you can tell the mom that he's vegetarian and maybe admit your mistake, saying that I messed up, I should have let you know beforehand, right? So he sucked it up, ate an entire plate, and told my mom it was delicious, which obviously made her happy. Oh my god, you made him eat it? We had a good evening, and everyone seemed to like him, but when we drove back home, he brought it up again, and he thinks it was kinda effed up of me to expect him to eat meat, when I know how much it disgusts him. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty messed up. It kinda reminds me of that one, like, Darman video, where somebody was, like, shoving meat into this kid's mouth or something. Alright, I get his point, and I apologize to him, but I still don't think it's that bad to eat a bit of turkey once, to not make a weird first impression on my family. Am I the a-hole? Okay, a few people are asking why there's nothing else he could have eaten. Like I said, there were of course some snacks and a couple different sauces, but nothing that would have been considered a decent meal without the turkey. I think some people would rather literally go hungry than eat meat and stuff, right? You don't know like the moral stance on it, so they think it's like really bad, so you forcing it upon someone is messed up, so obviously you're the a-hole. What the hell is going on here? Am I the a-hole for making our daughter, 17 female, clean our horses' stalls against her will? We recently got 2 horses. My younger daughter, 13 female, wanted them as she's been learning to ride. My older daughter, 17 female, was against them. She's much more princessy and didn't want to deal with the mess and chores that come with horses. But then we told her it wouldn't be something she'd have to deal with and that her younger sister promised to take care of all of it. How much do horses cost? You got 2 horses? I don't know what the pricing is. I've never been in an area where people just roaming around with horses. Yeah, it seems like a rich family. I don't know. Well, recently the older daughter has been disrespectful at home and staying out too late, and her grades have been slipping. We want her to shape up, but last week when we told her that she'd been needlessly insulting to her younger sister while I was running errands, I told her that she'd be cleaning out the stable each day for the next week as punishment and that her sister would get a break. She got really upset and offended and said that we promised she'd never have to go in there or have to scoop horse poop. I said that I promised it wouldn't be one of your chores, of course, but obviously a punishment is supposed to be something outside of your normal chores and something you won't like, so I thought it was perfectly fair here. Oh yeah, you'll never have to do this unless I really want you to do it. She's been doing it 3 days but seems very resentful of our broken promise, acting very disgusted, and keeps begging to get out of the rest of it. But I said I thought it's very fair and that she's overreacting. Am I the a-hole? TLDR made older daughter clean stables as punishment despite saying she wouldn't have to. She thinks the punishment is too far. There's a bunch of different ways to discipline your child. I don't know how it's like to scoop horse poop. I can't imagine it would be very fun. You said that she has been disrespectful, staying out late, and her grades have been slipping. Maybe help her grades. I wouldn't personally give this type of punishment. I think there's many better ways you can address the issue. I feel like giving random unrelated things to do is completely ridiculous. Like, if her grades are slipping, maybe ask her why her grades are slipping or help her with it, you know, something like that. If she's being disrespectful, maybe ask her why. I mean, it's hard to reason with teenagers or whatever, but she's 17, I'm sure she'll understand. Yeah, you made a promise and you kind of broke it, so kind of the a-hole, not too much, but yeah. Info: horses are a pretty big gift. Does your oldest child get the same treatment as your youngest child? It could be resentment building up and causing her to act out. That could possibly be it, right? Horses, by the way. We thought in this day and age you get your kid an iPad, right? I'll get you an iPad, not you, right? What is with horses, bro? My god, maybe a video game? Horses? Well, bruh. Okay, so I googled the average price of a horse and it said $3,900. So that is a very expensive gift, apparently. I imagine it's way more expensive than that because that would just be to purchase it, maybe. Because, like, the upkeep, the food. I'm sure horses require a lot of maintenance as well, right? Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay at a restaurant that was false advertising? Possibly. So, my girlfriend, her 27, me 28, wants to go to this fancy new restaurant in the city that she's heard good things about. We get there, and it seems like one of those hipster places, but whatever, I'm hungry. I look at the menu, and this place is crazy expensive. Every dish is more than $15 to $20, and half the ingredients I've never heard of. I ordered the bison steak, $26, and my girlfriend ordered some weird pasta, gnocchi, I think, $18. Very important, these were listed as entrees on the menu. Mind you, with the drink plus tip, this is gonna come out over $60, which is already ridiculous for dinner for 2 people. You went to a fancy place, so that just is what it is. If you wanted cheap food, go to McDonald's or something. So anyway, we order as we are starving. My steak arrives, and I'm shocked. It's like 6 small pieces of sliced steak with some weird sauce on the side, and a small handful of salad. I joke to the waiter, where's the rest of my steak? And he explains they serve smaller portions at this restaurant because they focus on getting the highest quality ingredients. I don't care if this bison was blessed by the Pope himself. It's absurd to charge that much for a small bit of steak. It's highway robbery. When I go to restaurants, I expect an entree to fill me up and be enough for leftovers. Your first mistake here was going to a fancy restaurant. I've had this experience as well. Basically, anytime there's like any sort of event or like, I don't know, my mom or dad's birthday, maybe their anniversary, something like that, they always want to go to like a fancy place, right? And I always tell them, I'm like, you are not gonna like the food, and it's gonna be less amount of food, and you're just gonna like our usual stuff better anyways. You should probably not go. And they always go to this fancy place, like many different fancy places. They're all the goddamn same. They overcharge you, and they give you a laughable amount of food, okay? That's just how fancy places work. And then they come back disappointed. And this is just how it is, okay? You just gotta settle for the old usuals, okay? I'm complaining to my girlfriend, she's getting annoyed with me. Similar situation with her pasta. It was like maybe 12 pieces of gnocchi dressed up with some frou-frou BS. Granted, the food was pretty good, but I can't get over how tiny these portions are. I'm a big guy and I like to eat. What could I say? When the waiter comes back, I inform him that we will not be paying for our meal, of course. So you eat the meal at this fancy restaurant and you decide not to pay. That's called robbery. That they are falsely advertising entrees that basically qualify as a light snack. My girlfriend is begging me to stop, but that's why we're different. I don't let businesses push me around and rip me off. What an absolute macho alpha man over here, eating their food and not paying for it. Obviously, I understand your frustration. Some of the portions are absolutely ridiculous and the tastes are not even that good sometimes. The thing is, the restaurant is still allowed to do whatever they want because you're the one who walked in there and asked for the food. You can't really start complaining now. A manager comes and apologizes but asks us to leave. I don't end up paying as I realize I called them out on their BS, or they just don't want to deal with a Karen customer. My girlfriend is silent the entire time on the way back. I'm still hungry, so I drive through McDonald's and get a burger. When I did that, she asked to be dropped off at her place. It's now the next day, and I'm starting to think I didn't handle the situation as well as I could have. Probably could have asked for a discount. Girlfriend hasn't responded to my text, so now I'm starting to think I'm an a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I'd say you're the a-hole because you kind of got a free meal for absolutely no reason, and your girlfriend probably just wanted a nice night or something, and then you kind of made a whole scene about the whole thing. A lot of people just don't like dealing with a lot of drama, so probably why she's mad. Probably the a-hole, man. Those prices are not even expensive. Seems you're not suited to fine dining. You're the a-hole. 2 people, $60. That is ridiculous. I know it goes upper and upper. Like, obviously, you can charge anything for a meal. It's still ridiculous, though. Come on. Don't act like you're Gordon Ramsay here, okay? Am I the a-hole for not liking how my girlfriend dresses for work? So I, 43-year-old male, don't think I'm in the wrong here. Probably why you're posting it to Reddit. My mother is very angry at me, and my best friend said I was a horrible person for saying what I did. I'd be lucky if my girlfriend didn't me out with the garbage, and decided I wanted to act like trash. My girlfriend, 34-year-old female, is a preschool teacher. For some reason, I can't explain, she dresses like Miss Frizzle, like a dress with the pattern of whatever they are studying. She makes a lot of them herself, not including matching masks. The kids love it, and the parents seem to think it's great. I don't like the amount of attention she gets, honestly. I prefer if she came home and changed before running errands. On Friday, she helped my mom with something after work, and she was still in her weird dress. I've told her before, I don't like when she dresses that way, day, but she tells me I don't have to like it, but I have no right to tell her how to dress. I was upset she went out like that with my mother and told her my mom said she was embarrassed and called the ass not to dress like them again. I was not expecting her to call my mom and apologize. When my mom asked what she meant, told her what I said, my mom was furious, explained she doesn't have a problem with how my girlfriend dresses, think it's great she spends extra time to engage with her students. Girlfriend and I got into a huge fight, said she was embarrassed to be seen in public like that. She said the only thing she was embarrassed by was me. Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought this was a situation of she's like going out with no clothes or something like that, and then you were getting mad at that. This is just her dressing for some students and making it a little fun or whatever. So yeah, I don't know what the hell is up with you, bro. Jesus. Will I be the a-hole for taking my friend's ex as my date to her wedding after I got kicked out of her wedding party? My friend is marrying my ex-boyfriend of 4 years. It's been pretty awkward. I was kicked out of her wedding party because I was uncomfortable wearing a very revealing bridesmaid's gown. This wasn't that big of a deal as we're not exactly close since she got with my ex. However, she still expects me to take on all the duties of a bridesmaid. I told her that was ridiculous and that she needed to find a new bridesmaid. She then almost uninvited me from the wedding, but instead decided I could go if I follow a very specific set of rules, ranging from how to dress to who I could talk to. I was absolutely crushed as I was still looking forward to the wedding, even if I wasn't gonna be in it. Found out through a mutual friend who's still in the wedding party, the bridesmaid continuously makes fun of me and talks shit about me constantly, and so do several of the other bridesmaids. I was about to just not go when I ran into the bride's ex, who was also invited to the wedding. He's the groom's cousin. He was also kicked out of the wedding party and was given a list of rules to follow. He and I have decided we're going to go together and have fun breaking as many rules as we can, such as wearing what we want to wear, drinking at the open bar, talking to whoever we want to, and dancing. We're not allowed to dance. Well, this is a lot of petty BS going on here. Nothing we could do could distract from the bride's big day other than breaking the ridiculously petty rules that we're supposed to follow. We're both at the point that we're both ready to sever ties with the bride and groom. Would we be the a-holes? Yes? Sorry if this was scattered. A lot happened in the past month of weddings in 3 weeks. I'm willing to accept my judgment. You're literally describing how you're gonna go to the wedding to be an a-hole, and you're like, well, are we the a-holes? Yes, you are the a-holes. Maybe they are the a-holes as well, but you are definitely the a-holes. What the heck? Am I the a-hole for making a post about my daughter's favorite celebrity being rude to us? My daughter and I were recently on vacation. We spent the day in an area that's known to have a lot of rich and famous people, and towards the end of the day, we saw one of our daughter's favorite celebrities walking out of the store. My daughter ran to the store, but when she got near A, she was stopped by A's security. They said that A's there with her daughter for her daughter's birthday, so she wants to focus on her daughter. My daughter is very upset because she's been a fan of A for a very long time, so she tried again for a picture but was turned away. My daughter was crushed, so later that night, I made a post talking about my experience with A, how she wouldn't let anyone go near her and her daughter, the fact that her security was rude, and her not being willing to stop for a couple seconds for a picture. I understand it's her daughter's birthday, but a 1-minute interaction with a fan isn't gonna ruin her day, and if it does, that girl needs to learn that the world doesn't revolve around her. Well, quite clearly it does, considering you're losing your mind for not getting 1 minute with her. This is the dumbest argument ever. You are not the only person approaching that celebrity. If you were the one person approaching them, then it would make sense, okay, then why are they getting mad over 1 single minute? Surely they can spare a minute. It's not you, it's you and a horde of other 50,000 people approaching them. So obviously, at a certain point, you gotta be like, no, alright, I want to celebrate my daughter's birthday. I don't have time for this picture, okay? And you're not entitled to a picture. Are you entitled with the picture to a random stranger you see? No, okay? They can just say no. My post ended up getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people actually said my daughter and I were being entitled for expecting A to interrupt her daughter's birthday for everyone that wants a picture. Facts. My husband also saw the post and said he couldn't believe that I would bash her for trying to spend a day with her daughter. I'm not trying to bash her for spending a day with her daughter, but she wouldn't be where she is without her fans. I think she at least owes to them to take a picture. Bruh. Listen, you individually have contributed 0 to their success, okay? Please, don't get ahead of yourself. It's like a million other people combined with you that have contributed to their success. So you acting like, because of me, you are successful. That's entitled as hell, okay? So yeah, you are the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for describing my wife as fat to our young children. My wife, 41-year-old, and myself, 44-year-old male, both work in education and believe in properly explaining things to our children. We have agreed to never use "because I said so" reasoning with them. My wife is unfortunately around 3 st overweight. What is st? Her weight has crept up gradually since having the kids, and I don't think she's even aware of this gain until I gently raised the subject with her last year. She agreed she needs to remedy this. Since then, we have worked together to shift the excess weight, and I'm proud to say she's lost around 10 pounds. But she still has a lot of work to do to reach her target weight. She's best at sticking to her diet if there's no temptation around, so for Easter, I got her flowers instead of an egg. She seemed happy with this. Then yesterday, my children were arguing over a missing Easter egg, each accusing the other of eating it. I instantly knew what had happened. I asked my wife to tell the children where the egg, which was quite big, had really gone, and she admitted she had eaten it. Oh my god, we got the Cookie Monster here, bruh. My son, whose egg it was very upset and confused and asked his mom why she had eaten it. My wife replied that she would replace it, which would be impossible as it's now after Easter. I pointed out that she had not answered the question our son had asked. He was very upset and he kept asking why she had stolen his egg. I felt it was unfair because she hadn't properly answered this as she was getting more distressed. This woman really wants her eggs, bro. Oh my god. She stole it from her son? That's messed up. My wife completely threw me under the bus here and said because I wanted chocolate, but daddy didn't get me an egg. Bruh, if you wanted it, just ask him. You said you were happy with the flowers. They already know the importance of healthy eating, so I explained that mommy was not wanting to eat too much sugar. Several but why questions down the line, I finally said, because mommy is fat and needs to work on this by not eating sweeties. I use the word fat because my sister is fat and always says it is not a shameful thing and she prefers to be described this way. She says to not use the word implies there's something wrong with being fat. That is actually facts. If you get offended over being called fat, that's your fault because fat is just a descriptive thing. Thin and fat, right? Okay? It's your fault you're ascribing that to a negative thing. I probably was an a-hole to presume my wife would feel the same way about this term, and I wonder if I should have said overweight instead. I think that's more offensive. I don't know. I prefer to be called fat, maybe. My wife hasn't spoken to me since this and has seemed very upset. I feel terrible for upsetting her, but I think she was wrong to have taken our little boy's Easter egg without asking, and wrong to have blamed me for her actions. I regret upsetting her and possibly using the wrong terminology, but I ran out of ways to explain to the children why I hadn't bought my wife an egg. I wouldn't have had to explain had I hadn't bought an egg and if she hadn't told them this fact, or indeed if she hadn't eaten the egg to begin with, but I do feel like I may be an a-hole for upsetting my wife. And if my wife said she didn't want anything for Easter, I felt comfortable with this and so got her flowers. I don't care about her appearance, blah blah, history of heart disease. She watched her 5-year-old accuse her little sister of stealing the egg without admitting she had taken it. Only when I asked outright did she own up. I feel like that's really unfair. I don't think you're the a-hole here. I think the woman in this situation is definitely the a-hole. How little self-control do you have that you have to steal from your own 5-year-old his egg, and then you couldn't even admit that you just wanted it? You said, oh, I don't want anything for Easter. Then you get mad and you steal from your children. Like, she clearly has no self-control at all and doesn't care about her kids either, because I don't know, you're pissing off your 5-year-old. Yeah, she's definitely the a-hole. You're good, bro. I don't know. Anyways, go check out this video. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.